Hi, I'm Captain Clive and welcome aboard the IDEA Academy. In these videos, we'll introduce you to IDEA's yacht management software and show you best practices on how to use its features. So no matter which vessel you board, you'll be an expert in one of the world's most relied upon yacht management solutions. So, let's get started. In this video, we'll get an overview of the IDEA Snag List feature. Snag List is a tool that can help you with your defect list for your daily operations or even for warranty purposes and your next refit. To navigate to the Snag List tool, head to the left-hand side menu and go down to Snag List and click Snag List Overview. Here we have the Snag List Overview, and you can see across the top we have some action buttons so that you can work on your Snag List entries. We have Add a new snag entry, Share your snag entry, Export to an Excel spreadsheet, and to modify Snag List state and workflow, but we'll come back to those in just a little bit. As is usual in IDEA, you'll find the filter bar here that will allow you to find your Snag List entries as easily as possible. Here we have an overview of all of our Snag List entries, and on the left-hand side you will find a filter called Workflow. As default, we have 4 workflows available, however these are fully customizable according to the way that you work on board your vessel. We have snag reporting, which is our overall overview of all of our Snag List entries, and therefore it could be up to the chief engineer, for example, to decide whether to move these snags into other workflows. These other workflows include direct repair or onboard work, signifying that this is a repair that can be undertaken by the crew. It could be refit, for if the vessel is scheduled to go back into refit, then this can be designated to be undertaken during that time. Or even if the defect is part of a warranty claim, we can select warranty and the snag will fall into that workflow. As mentioned, these are completely customizable according to your own workflows and how you operate on your vessel. We'll show you this in another video. The concept here is that everyone can report on the snag reporting phase, and then, for example, the chief engineer can decide where to move those onboard or refit or warranty workflow states. So let's take a look at a snag example. Here's one we made earlier, that the window blinds are not working in the guest cabins. Now, as we head into it, we can see a general overview of the information around the snag, that the window blinds are not working is the title. We have a description that the guest cabin 4 blinds are not working in there. We have a category for the interior. We have a responsible crew member, which is the chief engineer, and we have a priority as well. We also have a costs field, so if you have a prior estimate of how much the repairs will cost, you can insert them here. And also a share ID, which will allow you to share this with an external party, a third party, which could be a shipyard or your distributor. Below this, we can see the workflow that it has been assigned to, and below that as well, we can see the interval that the repair needs to be undertaken in. Just above this, we can see the full workflow from initial reporting right through to under investigation, and that will be added to as we update the state of the snag. Also, across the top, we have the action buttons once more. We have back, we can add a note, close, share the Snag List entry again, and change its state, and of course, delete. Next, after general details, we have our notes section. Now, our notes section are our ideal place to communicate with other crew members about the current status of the snag. It's a centralized communication tool and a tracker that can track any change of the snag. It keeps all communications in one place, and we can add notes, reply to notes, and open different channels so that the right person gets the right information. We can also leave notes as well for our external parties and third parties as well. Next, we can see the layout. So this gives us our top-down view of the deck general arrangement. If we see here, we just zoom in, we can see where our defected blinds are, and we can click into that from there. Also, if we click down here on the left, we can change the different layouts that we have available to us, including in the app. We can look at if we have a tender on board, we can see the layout of that, and we can work on defects and snags on board there as well. But going back into the main view, let's go across to the next item, and that's our component. What makes IDEA's Snag List even more valuable is the fact that it interlinks directly with your own vessel database, so no need to copy and paste from other software suites. So here we can see the component is already selected. Let's just go and show you how we can select components. So for example, if we head into here, we can search for our component, we can filter as well, and select the appropriate component that this snag involves. As we go along to our maintenance tab, the same can be applied here. We can search for our maintenance task and assign it to this snag. So everything is completely interlinked with your database. Next along is our documents, which we can assign to our snags. This could be a photo. If we click in here, we've already assigned a photo of the item in question. And we can add documentation, which may help us solve the snag. Heading along to our next section, and that is our sharing section, where we can share our snag with our desired parties. As you can see here, we already have one entered in, our chief engineer and their email, but also we can share via the button at the top. And just to revisit those action buttons, we have the ability to add a note, to close, to share, which we've just mentioned, and to change the state and delete our snag. Heading back to our changing of state, we can have a look at this in more detail. So our workflows all contain numerous different states, and you can fully customize these yourself. And it allows us to keep track of what the state of repairs currently is. So let's take a look at our example. So I might want to move this from the original workflow of snag reporting. And we realize that actually this is a snag for refit. And the state that we have is reported, as it's obviously in the early stages, as it's just been noticed, and reported as a snag. And let's leave a comment in here to say it is refit. And press save, and OK. And you'll notice that we are now in the new workflow, from reported to quoting phase, refit schedule, performed by shipyard, reworked by shipyard, and approved by crew, which is a perfect refit workflow available. And if we look in the general details of the snag as well, we'll see that the workflow has changed in there as well. I hope this has given you a bit of an overview of the snag list feature. We'll have plenty more videos and how-tos on our IDEA Academy pages.